Ahead and kick this off. Welcome to another Curious About session. For this one, we just wanted to see what people were using in terms of apps. What are your new favorite ones? It's a fast-paced, just kind of fun look at some of the tools that people are using, how they're using them, and what's new out there that is interesting to people. So welcome to everybody. We have a lot of presenters lined up for you today, and we'll kind of go back and forth a little bit. We're not really teaching
Mm,
today how to use the
mm,
tools because it is basically
mm,
each presenter has a 5-minute slot to go over what the different tool is, or sometimes there might be one or two that they're doing, but it's basically 5 minutes to show the things that are new to you and that you really love and that you've been finding useful to you, and then we move on to the next one. So please, if you are presenting, don't hate me if I say things like, hey guys, we got to move on to the next person. I am going to try so that everyone has that time that they need to really keep you at 5 minutes. If you are joining us today, feel free to put questions in the chat. We'll do the best that we can to answer them. But again, it's we're really more here to see what people are doing. Carrie keeps putting, and I will help put in the chat, and I know Jessica's going to do that, links to our slide deck. There also is a little bit.ly at the top of the presentation right now if you're wanting to join us. By making a copy of the slide deck for yourself, you'll have access to these tools. We've put little videos in the corners that are kind of get started videos that might help explain later if you're coming back to it, if you want to kind of take a little dive. If you saw something and you're like, I love that, how did they do that? Then the video should help with that. You're also always more than welcome to email us if you go to our website. Carrie, did you want me to show the next slide or did you want to do that one? I got it. Or did you want to do it? Oh, I'm getting a thumbs up. Okay. So Carrie's going to drive for me, but if you're interested in what we also have coming up within this month and kind of for the rest of our calendar, you can always go to our website. It's www.sdcoe.net/edtech. And one of the first things I want to point out on our website is we have put up the information for the Learning and Innovation Summit. So if you are interested in attending, all of the information is here. If you are a presenter and you're interested in presenting, the little buttons down at the bottom, along the bottom, we have call for presenters, we have the registration link, and then eventually the schedule is there, but it's not got a whole lot on it right now. But all of that information is there for you if you are interested in attending or presenting. Everything's linked and open. She cruises down here. I can see she's getting there. You can see that we have this little yellow button. When you click on it,
mm.
it takes you to our calendar. And we're not doing anything fancy here. This is a Google Doc, and we honestly find this is the best way to get information to you quickly. You'll notice there's a lot of links. So if you've missed any of our events for the year, we link in the resources. The registration links are still there, but we will have those things available for you so you can go back and check out, like today's session, the video document of it. And then again, down at the bottom is the information about the Learning and Innovation Summit. For March, we still have a couple of events coming up. Just for fun and kind of to know about it, we have a esports tournament. We have a high school, middle school Minecraft tournament. If your school's interested in esports, you're welcome to go to our website and contact Alicia, and she can kind of tell you how to get started. Alicia is our director, and she is waving right now at you. She's here today. And I realized I did not introduce myself or Carrie. I'm just on speedball here. So I'm Pam Rabin. I'm coordinator with educational technology. These are the things that we're doing, and I'm going to leave you with Carrie after that.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Lane, project specialist on the Ed Tech team. And as Pam mentioned, we have a lot of things coming up in March. So in addition to our esports tournament, which is going to be this Saturday, we also have another Curious About session that's going to be about alternative reality games, which in terms of education, we're looking at those as kind of school-wide ways to share an escape room and build enthusiasm about an event. So if you like escape rooms or kind of curious about those and you want to think about how you can build traction with those across a school or for a big event, that's what that is for. And then we have a session on accessibility, and we're going to be looking at cutting edge apps, Chrome extensions, and features for that one. And now we will turn it over to our first presenter, who is Eric Frey, and he is going to take over and share with you the Merge Cube AR for visualization.
Hi there. Hi, everybody. I'm the science teacher up at SPA. And one of the things I love to do, being a lifelong scientist and science teacher, is to bring new innovative things to my kids, really cutting edge, and do experiments and activities that are very, very unusual, really aren't done in any other science schools. But sometimes I come across something, it was about 4 or 5 years ago, which is so interesting and simple. This little foam cube, it's $20. You can also photocopy it, make your own for free, which they encourage. And I started, and at that time, they didn't have Chromebook access. Now they do, which is fantastic. And I think that that Alison Wolf is going to make this available to every child in SD JCCS. So I'm really excited. So simple foam cube. Here we go. And let me share my screen here. And first, let's just do the regular screen. Oh, screens, right? Desktop. So, and then I'm going to share my camera. So very simply, it's a physical cube that allows users to interact, okay, with something called augmented reality. Now, remember, this is way before AI. It didn't exist 6 years ago or so, okay? And today, I'm specifically coming to you to share the benefits of this cube specifically for ELL, ELD second language learners, because they have embedded different embedded features that not only bring the subject and the object to life, but also ties into the academic content. So you can kind of read this later and also go to this fabulous little introduction. And I really, really encourage you to. All right, here we go. So if you have never seen it before, every time I show it to someone the first time, it's one of those things. It's wow, absolute wow. Okay. All right. So where's my share screen? I'm trying to do, let's do stop share. Okay, now share again. So I'm using this, I used in COVID, by the way. During COVID, we did the sharing. I go outside and take pictures. We had microscopes. So where's my share here? Oh, there we go. All right, so here's my iPhone screen. It's used on any device now, including Chromebooks and any kind of camera. So let's go to our Merge Explorer. This is $8.99 a month. I don't use it every single month, but when I do, I pay for it. I use my phone. We're going to get iPad soon, which is pretty exciting. So here we go. Here's the cube. So this is the very first one I ever did with anybody. Okay, so it's the planetary system. And so we scan the cube and voila. Okay. It does not do it justice by having it on the screen, but you can get the idea how amazing it is. And so there are various levels. So for instance, you want to click on this planet and it's Neptune and you get a little more information. Okay. All right. So this was the very first one. So they have maybe, I think, 70 different types of activities. Absolutely interesting, fascinating. I love having my kids explore and give them credit. So let's do something kind of friendly and simple. The food web, which I teach biology to ELL learners. And so here's an introduction. Now they have a reader. So you press this button here and you have a host of options. So first of all, you can change the voice speed. Okay. And this is a little bit fast, okay, but you can join the male and female voice. Up here is kind of fun. You can do text size, obviously, because it's going to highlight the word as you read. And you can change nouns and verbs. So let's do adverbs, okay? Most kids don't know what an adverb is, okay? So let's do that. And then there's some other language functions and everything that you can look at, all right? So, here.
Food web is a complex system of how energy is exchanged in an ecosystem. Learn how plants and animals are interconnected and how ultimately almost all the energy that we use comes from the sun.
Okay, so that can be an introduction, and then we break down the parts of speech, and we'd have students, read it themselves. I wish this app had a way to take off the voice and have the student read at their pace as the words are highlighted. So I wish they have that. I don't think they do. All right, so now let's get back to kind of the fun stuff here. So let's get to a producer. And now I'm going to do something called worldview. And guess what? You don't even need a cube. So here we go. There's my world. See, no cube, just the app. And you can rotate it, twiddle it, everything. Okay, let's put it in our world. All right. And now let's see their plants. So let's do an interactive sunlight, water, and of course I'm going slowly talking to the students here. Soft drink, what's your prediction? Of course the plants die, and then air. And it also has a record feature. So you can record the screen and microphone, and you can use that as an artifact. You can use it as something to, store your information. You also have a 3D version, which is just something you can play around with. And now we can go to primary consumer. Now the headset view, I don't use that much because you need a phone, and I only had my phone. So we did try a little bit, but it was really tough in those days. VR, virtual reality was really coming on, and it's very clunky and kind of hard to use. So I'm not an expert in that and all, but just these basics are something that the kids really love. All right, so to close out now, let's do the cube again. Okay, and here's our cute little bird. And so there is secondary, primary, and look how close you can get kind of close. Okay. So to close out, this is a super interactive device, super friendly, really approachable for students learning and trying to figure out parts of speech and being able to read coherently and understand paragraphs and sentences. And so I am a science teacher. I do tons and tons of stuff with science, but this is specific for helping my ELLs, which are like 1s and 2s, and then I have a couple 4 5s. Okay. All right. I will now stop sharing.
Eric, you had a question if each student needs a phone for this.
So yes, this is pretty interesting. You can have one cube and it will serve many phones. And so the interaction is either a Chromebook, which all the kids have, so they can just do the front-facing camera, or they can have a device like an iPad. I don't think they would have the phone because they'd have to, put the app on their phone. But as I said, Allison is going to put it on the app, the Google Play app, which is hard to access. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, I've seen other people use iPads with 2 students or 3 students because you can just more people can see the screen.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And who's up next?
Think that's me. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Jessica Sierra. I am a part of the EdTech team, and today, let me get this up. I am going to be sharing. You guys all see that? Thumbs up. Okay. I'm going to be sharing Figma or FigJam with you. So Figma is a product that companies use to do like big scale workflows and things like that, but they've come up with a product that mimics Padlet. So if you are missing Padlet or Jamboard, this is a great replacement for that. And this is called FigJam. Does all the typical things that Padlet and Jamboard did. So if we want to put stickies in there, if you're trying to have kids collaborate, typical sticky program. But FigJam also, I think because it came from industry, has a ton of cool other features. Some of them are, and I put the bit.ly up here if you guys want to see this as like a template, or if you have a phone, you can use the QR code. Some of the cool tools are these widgets. So kids can insert GIFs in there. We all love a good GIF of cute dogs or whatever. They can also do voice recording. So if you want to have them, get this, if you want to have them do some kind of voice thread, They can do it right within the app and then move it just like a sticky. So you could use it like a discussion board sort of tool. The photo booth is kind of neat. So they can take pictures right within, is my camera not working? So they should be able to, maybe because I'm on Zoom, they should be able to take a little picture so you can have them, you know, like do some kind of thing, or if you're looking for proof of like some kind of art project or whatnot, you can have them take a picture of it. If they're out and about and you wanted them to collaborate, putting together like a collection of pictures, they could use this on their phone and drop pictures into this FigJam board. They also have the typical mapping tools. So if you wanted them to map out some kind of workflow or some kind of process, they can put their shapes in there, and they have a cool little tool to do some connections. So let me get my little line there, and you can make a big old brain map, or you could do some kind of template with that if you're trying to do some kind of brainstorming. You can also do some free form marking, so it allows you to like write with these tools right on it. It also has some cool other things, like this washi tape was kind of fun. If you're making like your own little bulletin board on there, lots of different highlighter tools that you can just have kids free form mark on, which I don't know if that was in Padlet. I know Jamboard kind of had a similar feature, but that's pretty cool. There's also different like stickers and things, so just really interactive down here. And then these two features kind of blew me away. So you can embed video on there. So if you're doing some kind of like resource collection that you want students to continue to return to, you could have a whole kind of classroom page set up with all sorts of resources. And the videos play right within
Hello, educators, and
right within the pad, right within the FigJam. That's a great tutorial, by the way, and that's in my slide if you want to watch it. It's like 6 minutes crash course in FigJam. And then you can also embed documents. So if you want them, this is just our EdTech calendar, but it's fully editable within FigJam. So if you want them to be able to just open up a doc and start editing, or a slideshow, they can do it all within this same program without having to like navigate out or use links. It's all right there for them if you had like a class schedule or whatnot. It's a great way to set up like a class resource page. They also have a ton of templates. So if you come here to templates, like you don't have to start from scratch. There's all sorts of things there for you to use. Another super cool feature as a teacher, up here, you've got an embedded timer. So if you had an activity for them, you could just pull that up and start a 3-minute timer like right there without having to use a different site. You can do some ambient music. If you want them to work on something and add some stickies, you could just play that music right there, and they have lots of different options. And also the voting feature that everybody loved from Padlet. And then the last thing I'll share with my last like 30 seconds, it integrates with Google Classroom. So you are able to share it directly with students. And it's completely free for teachers and students. You do have to verify yourself as an educator, but it takes like 2 seconds. It's just your email. And then as a teacher, your students can join if you share the link with them. So super cool Padlet replacement. We get a lot of questions about that since Jamboard went away and Padlet is now like freemium. So check that out.
Thanks, Jessica. And Pam, I believe you are up next.
I am, and I just put 2 and 2 together with FigJam, and I wondered if they did it on purpose with Jamboard. I don't know. Okay, so I don't know how many of you remember growing up, and there were the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup commercials where they talked about 2 great tastes that taste great together. And it was, you know, the chocolate, and then someone's coming around the corner and they bump into the person with the peanut butter, and everyone's like, ah, until they try it and they love it. So that's kind of what I wanted to show you today, was something that reminded me of that. And the minute I heard somebody say this, I thought, that's amazing. And yes, I want more of that. So I just have to say, show of hands if you've ever heard of ChatGPT. Haha. Yeah, everybody, right? Show of hands if you've ever used Canva. Again, right? So it is that kind of 2 great things that are great together. And that's what they have done with this. So now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If you're not familiar at all with the fact that you can do this, I'm going to blow your mind because it blew my mind. So I'm switching over. Well, let me do it here because I can show you then how to go into it. I'm just going to go to ChatGPT and I'm Googling it just to get there with this account. I also have an account on my personal one, which I was going to show you in a minute. But so this is the normal ChatGPT. You go in. This is actually the free version. The paid version I do on my own personal account. But you can go in, you can have that conversation with the AI. You can ask it many questions. It goes out to the internet. It searches for things. And then almost like magic, will pop a whole bunch of words and sometimes images into a document, conversation for you. Well, I learned this recently. So if you come over here, if you're not familiar with the Explore GPTs yet, that's something to play with. But when you click on that, there are all of these little integrations now for ChatGPT where they either have made agreements with other companies, or sometimes people go in and they create their own chat agents and they upload information and they kind of give it all the parameters for what they want to do. Well, it never occurred to me to try to integrate with something like Canva. But if you go on there and you click, you can see it's coming up. You'd select Canva. And then you're going to come down here and it's going to ask you to start the chat. And part of that process is it's going to ask for permission to connect with Canva. And what I'm not sure about is whether I have connected here or not, but I have a feeling once I start, it's going to ask me. I had pre-posted in a prompt based on the lunar eclipse coming up. So what I'm going to say is just, can you make me a slide deck with a Google slide deck? I have to be specific here. With 10 slides, or maybe it's just a slide. Actually, I'm sorry. I am doing Canva, not Google. A slide deck. Presentation, I probably even should tell it, but with 10 slides of the lunar eclipse at a 2nd grade level. I'm making this up now as I go. And also phases of the moon. Use vocabulary, science vocabulary. And base it on the 2nd grade standards for California. I'm again making stuff up here and I'll put in NGSS. Okay, so this is what I've asked it to do for me. Fix my one little error here. I don't think it's going to mind, but I'm a perfectionist. Push the button. And normally, did I forget to push myself? No, I'm in Canva. All right. So it has done this for me. When I'm not, and I was worried a little bit about this, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what I did over here so I don't have to go troubleshoot that. When I asked it to do it on my personal account, this is what it came up with. It actually goes to Canva. It should ask you to sync, and it did ask me earlier, and I ignored it. So I have a feeling I messed up my connection and have to go in the background and fix something on that account. But I had this one here for you. So it will come up with these things for you to choose. So there's my prompt again, design a 10-slide presentation discussing the different phases of the moon. If you click on any of these, you'll see that it will go to Canva. So it's going to automatically open up Canva, and it has created me a slide deck. It's decorated it. I've had all the choices, and it's also filling in information for me. So now I can go in and make changes if I want, but it has picked slides for me. It's given me things to talk about. I didn't get the lunar eclipse in this one because I didn't quite ask for that. But this was sort of that magic moment for me when I looked at it and I said, wow, it can do all these things for me. That is amazing. So if you have not had a chance to play with that, I want to make sure I'm sticking to my time here. I highly recommend it. And check out all those other GPT little explore things over here. So I'm going to go ahead and give the screen off. and let the next person go.
Todd is our next presenter. He's going to be talking about GradeFlow. And if you have any questions about the Canva ChatGPT integration, you can put them in the chat and we'll answer them from there so that Todd has all of his time.
Very, very cool. Thank you, guys. So I'm Todd Bennett. I'm a teacher out at Grossmont High School, and I, along with a few other people, have built this app, GradeFlow. And what we do is we've kind of standardized project-based instruction so that any project-based learning, so that any teacher can pick it up and run with it without having all of the expertise and all the different requirements. So what GradeFlow does is it provides on-demand instruction, and the key part is that formative feedback and scoring. So as a student's working in real time, this document or the spreadsheets that it manages or the slide decks gets sent off to ChatGPT. ChatGPT grades it using prompts as if they're a teacher, and then gives that feedback back to the student in real time. So they're not sitting there waiting with their hands up in the air for feedback. They're getting that kind of formative, constructive support in real time. If we look at this is one I made for a geography teacher. They were studying like the different types of economies around the world and the different types of societies. And so they wanted to teach students about that, but they also want to have modern instruction where they learn about formulas and spreadsheets, data visualization, and how to use prompts in AI. And so if we look at this right now, this student only has a 88%, 150 out of 70. And on the left-hand side, we've got these tasks that they've partially completed. They've got a 2 out of 5, a 4 out of 10. And so instead of the student going back and forth with the teacher, they can go ahead and they can watch the videos that explain the task, and they can get these little hints, these little feedback hints that come back from the platform saying, okay, hey, yeah, good job. You got a point, but you didn't make a column chart. You know, this is a pie chart instead. So if the student, this is a student account, if a student edits this and goes ahead and changes it to a column chart, and then goes ahead and evaluates it, you're going to see the score go from an 88 up, and this task is going to fade away because the student has now completed that task the correct way. So this is in real time, that support. It also says they didn't do they're missing a country here. And then on this one, it says that they, they didn't use the average function, and it walks them through these processes. I'm not going to bother you with that right now, but basically we can see here the student put a 3 in instead of a formula. So let's just go ahead and put the formula in there. They gave innovation, Korea, a 5 on innovation when it is not. And then they didn't list the command economy. So I'm going to put this in. And you'll see now that if the student engaged with all the videos and all the feedback and they evaluate it now, they'll see that they've got all of their points now. They've now completed this high impact, hands-on, project-based learning experience without having to wait around and ask the teacher 1,000,001 questions. Over here, we have a Google Doc version of it as well. This is writing, grading argumentative essay on a current event, and it's asking the students to do outlines, to use ChatGPT as an editor and a writing aid, go ahead and do rough drafts. So the students are learning how to use AI, work with those tools all the way through, but the AI is smart enough to grade this in real time in bits and pieces. And so we see here they've got 170 out of 250. They don't have their titles here. They have them in there, but they're not formatted as a title, right? So if we go ahead and we tell the students to finish the paragraph, add the styling in, put all the lists of their resources. And now when the AI grades it, you're going to see that it's going to knock off all of these tasks that basically weren't done. And on the left-hand side, like I showed before, there's the video instructions, the task instructions, the feedback hints that the AI is giving it. And at this one here, there's these last final evaluations that are more like subjective instead of objective. And so with these ones, we want the teacher to kind of be in the loop. I've got this turned off right now for a demonstration purposes, but we're going to send this off now, and we're going to give this whole document, instead of just checking particular pieces, we're going to give this whole document a once over by AI. It takes about 10 seconds, and it's going to grade it from a subjective perspective as if it was the teacher. And it should update here pretty quick. There it goes. And so we can see now that we got the feedback back from the AI, and the AI scored it, this way. The teacher can override all of this at any time, and then give it to the student with their feedback instead of the AI feedback. But it was really designed to be able to like let any core curriculum teacher bring digital literacy into their classroom, without having the burden of having to learn all those technology tools, and also free up teachers' time so they're not answering those same like repetitive questions time and again. Let the platform automate a lot of that stuff. Let AI do the low level lifts and the low level evaluations for the students to kind of speed them along. And then the teacher can spend their time investing into those meaningful experiences with the students or diving into deeper problems. So the last thing I want to say is it's San Diego homegrown. I built this along with a couple other technology people, and we're building it right now. We're looking for beta. It's being used right now in a few schools, but we're looking for more beta testers to give us some real classroom feedback on it. I'm using it with my students. We got a couple teachers here using it, and a couple teachers around the state. So that's Gradeflow.
And Todd, we had a question from Roxanne about how students feel about using it, feel about AI grading it, or the feedback.
So a couple of things. The first couple of times that they use it, it's like a whole new experience, right? They're not used to getting that instant feedback all the time on everything they do. But once they learn that workflow, that it's not just a one shot and you're done. It's an iterative thing now. Like you like the same way we update our resume, the same way we update our budgets and stuff, that it's an iterative process. They absolutely love it now. What blows my mind is the amount of homework I get submitted at like 1 or 2 in the morning. And then in terms of like the AI grading it, it's teacher in the loop, right? So that shows the students the feedback, but at the end, I can share again real quick here. At the end of the day, the teacher is complete control. So here's the teacher dashboard, and I can see that assignment just came in, and I've got to go ahead and I can come over here and I can override all of the tasks that the AI has already graded. It's set up for speed, so I'm only presented the ones that are incomplete. I can come in here and look at their work, override it. It gives me why it scored it that way. And so I can modify all of that before handing it back to the students so they can iterate on it some more, or I can finalize it and it puts it right in the LMS of my choice. And just, it's really meant, like, I'm one of those good lazy people. I hate doing work that I can automate. And so I built this to automate all the things that I can automate. So I hope that answered your question.
Thank you, Todd. And Roxanne, would you like to go ahead and share your screen as you are next as our app presenter?
Let me get my volume first. I have not shared a screen in a while, so hopefully this is going to work okay, because I have lots of different screens.
If not, you can always share it with me and I can share it, but it looks like it's working. Perfect.
Okay, let me make this a little bit bigger. And can you hear me okay? Because my earbuds are not working, so I'm using different audio. Okay, cool. So I want to talk a little bit about Adobe Express, and I've been using this for a while. It does quite a bit. And as on this slide, it actually, I don't know, you can use it to create graphics, you can do videos, you can make web pages. It's, really, really, I don't know, cut out to do quite a few things. But the nice thing about it is much more user-friendly than the full Adobe suite. Today, what I wanted to do is talk a little bit more about the generative AI creations that you can make, and specifically text-to-image tips and how to use some of those. And one of the things that I use it with for students is I have been using the text to image and getting them to kind of do more like prompting of what they want to do with their images to get the image that they want. So this one here, I color coded it just so you could see like when you're going in to get it to do what you want it to do. So this one here, it's letting them know that you have like a modern book cover. You want an image of a full body female. You're going to have, it uses style. So you can change this. So if you didn't want flat art, cartoon style, you could use cinematic style. You could, I don't know, say you want a doll, you want like a cartoon doll. Then you can change, you can put in more detail. And although you don't have to color code it when you're putting it in or put parentheses and things like that around it, having this in advance as like a frame that students can use makes it a little bit easier for them to then take it and like go a little bit further and kind of play around with it. So this down here, which might be a little bit harder to see, is something I created using one of these styles. So to go into Adobe Express, and one of the nice things here is you can either get started, you can also assign it to your kids and stuff if you've already gone in and created the classrooms. And if I get time, I might mention that. But here you can make a video, you can do a graphic, you can animate voice. For this one, if you wanted to get started just with like an alter ego, one of the new features that I like, and I've been using it a lot this year that's made my life easier, is some of these pre-created things with Adobe. They come with like a little video. So you can just play the video and it's like a step-by-step tutorial that students can use if they're not sure. And then it also has the text as well about what's going to get covered. Or you can just, do your own demo with the students. So for here, if you just click on the image, it brings up the generative image to generate an image. And then if you click on that, it tells you exactly, you can describe, and here it has if you want a squirrel, or you want an otter, or you want what they're doing, they're reading, you can go ahead and change this. So I'm going to just kind of change it to a creature that is a fusion of, I'm going to say a dragon and maybe not a squirrel. A dragon and a dog. I don't know what I'm going to get here. And then instead of blue, I'm going to put green. And I think I'm going to keep loves to read. I'm going to put wings. Loves to read, or you could put maybe, let me do bright so it's like something different. Or let me maybe sing, loves to sing. And then, so that just doing this, and then from here, you can go ahead and click on generate. And usually it doesn't take it too long to generate. So you get this kind of cool creation that, you can play with, and then you can have them change the text and do other things. But then if you wanted to add, say, a specific style, you could say flat art style. Let's see if that does anything a little bit different. So it kind of changes it around. Here we have like one that's singing more and a little more, I don't know, the style is a little bit different. And then you have different choices that you can work with. So this is just fun for students to play with, and they can also play with, like, they could create a doll and other things. And if they wanted to have it start with composition, they can go ahead and let's see, am I on my desktop? You can
And
give it.
Roxanne, we're gonna switch over in just 1 minute to our
Okay.
next presenter, just to give you a heads up if you want to finish up in the next minute.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. So you can put in your own composition in the composition space, and then it will take those lines and work and build with what you already put in here. So those are some things that you can do with Adobe Express.
Awesome, thank you for sharing. And our next presenter is our Director of Ed Tech, Alicia.
Hi, everybody. So I'm actually going kind of low tech for all of you today. I'm not going to show you an app, but I'm going to show you something that has really helped me. It's also very near and dear to Carrie's heart because it's very accessible, it has a lot of accessibility options. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And what I am going to do today is I am going to, can everybody see how big my cursor is? So my cursor is big and it's green. And I'm going to show you all how to change your cursor. I'm in a Mac, so I'm going to show you on a Mac, but as I'm showing you, Carrie, or I believe Carrie is going to put the directions on how to do that in a PC. So where you want to go on a Mac, I usually always start off at the launch pad to get to my system setting. So I'm going to click on my system setting. And this is where I always used to get confused and I never knew really where to look. But I'm going to go to accessibility. And again, I used to always get confused because it's not very, for me, it wasn't very intuitive of where I needed to look. So you want to go to where it says display.
Alicia, we're not seeing your screen that has the
Oh,
actual
you're
accessibility
not.
menu.
Okay, let me go ahead and stop sharing and then reshare. Okay, can you see it now? Awesome. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so again, I'm in my system settings and you'll see on the side here, there's the menu or the options that you could select. I'm going to go ahead and select accessibility. And then in the accessibility, I have these many options. And this is where I always got confused. I never knew where to select. But you want to select display. And this is just a good place to also come and look. But where you're going to go to is you're going to come down here to where it says pointer. And you'll see here you have pointer size. That's the first thing that I want to show you. You can go ahead and make your pointer a lot larger. So you can see as I move it, it can go from normal size to a larger size. So as I get older, I find I need it a little larger. So that's why I had to really find this. Then you can also change the pointer outline color. So you want to click here. You can either go with the round. Are you able to see that outline color? Okay, awesome. So you can either go with the color picker, you could go with the pencil. I usually like to go with the pencil because it gets me a little closer to the color that I want. You just select that and then it'll change the color. So you can see over here as I mix, I can change my color. I think I'll go with a bright pink outline. And then you could go with the pointer color actually. So here mine is more of a green color, but if I wanted to then change that to a blue and have it bright, I do like a forest green color. So I'm going to go there and just have it changed like that. I don't really like that pink, so I'm going to go back and change that to, I'm going to keep it as close to green as possible. I like that. Okay, and so that is how you change your pointer color. So any questions or how did anybody not know how to do that? And they're like, oh, I can do that. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Okay, so mine was quick, easy, and hopefully it was very helpful for you all.
Perfect. Thanks, Alicia. And hopefully you all are seeing my screen. I'm just checking. It didn't highlight, so there we go. Okay. Awesome. So we're going to look today at a program called InVideo. And actually, when Pam was sharing, InVideo also has the integration with ChatGPT. But what's nice about InVideo is it takes your text-based prompts and it turns them into pretty nice videos. They are going to need a little bit of work. And so what I did was I preloaded a video that you can see how you can edit it. But basically, you just put in any topic. So we do a lot of escape rooms. So if I put in something like create an animated video for a haunted schoolhouse themed escape room. And normally I put in a whole bunch of other parameters, things like the time limit and what students will be doing. And then you hit generate a video and it takes a while. So this is where I'm just going to toggle over to the screen right here and just pause on this one. So once it goes through some of the how long do you want it? Do you want it to be a minute, 4 minutes, or 2 minutes? Do you want it to be animated or real life? You end up getting a pretty cool first draft of a video. And so as you can see, it gives you some things that are kind of cool, but at the same time, you might have something that you want to edit. So it has this edit button. And with this, you can go in and change any of the pictures to your own uploaded media or to stock media. If you do generative media, it's premium, so you probably wouldn't want to do that. And then you can also go in and change the music. You can change what the script says. So if there's a part and it isn't part of what you want to include, you can take it out. You can also adjust the voices. And so sometimes there won't be a different speaker voice that you can add. If that's the case, you can go into settings and then you can add characters. And so you can make as many characters as you want with different accents, and then you can put them into your video too. And then when you hit generate, you'll end up having the video that you wanted within probably about 4 minutes after it buffers, and then you can download it and have it to use with your class. Really useful for quick anticipatory activities or kind of quick promos to units that you're doing.
And that's all
so
the
that's
free
in video.
account?
So that's all on free as long as
Oh.
you stick to the non-generative media and you don't pick, I think it's if you pick something like the Instagram Shorts, then I think it might go up to premium too. But if you go with the basic options, which are just uploading your own and stock images, as of right now, it's free.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, pretty cool tool.
Yeah.
And then the second one that I want to show is called Print Friendly and PDF. And as Alicia mentioned, I'm really interested in accessibility and things to help our students who maybe struggle with getting distracted when reading or just need a little bit of extra clear visual support when reading. Print Friendly is a great extension that works for that. And so I have here just an article, and it's an okay article in terms of the look. It doesn't have a lot of ads, but it has kind of close together text and some pictures. And so with Print Friendly, which you can get from the web store, you click into it, and then it says you have the option to generate a print friendly page. So if there were any ads or anything like that, it would take them away. And it just makes it this nice, clean, kind of well spaced out article. But then what I really like about this is if there's something in here that your students don't need to know, you can click on this garbage can and you can start to delete by sentences, by paragraphs. You can also delete pictures. You can go into the settings and you can adjust your text size. So you could make it a larger text. You could adjust the images to be bigger or smaller. You can adjust the language. And so as you save through, you'll see now I have larger text and smaller images. And you can also take screenshots of it. And when you go in, you have the options. There are some PDF tools where you can compress it and edit the PDF. And at the very end, you can either save it as a PDF, you can print it, or you can email it out to your students. So kind of just a lot of options that you can do with a general web article to make it more visually friendly and less distracting for your students.
All right.
Any questions about Print Friendly? All right, I'll turn it over to Pam, who has, I believe, our last tool of the day.
I do. And so I'm sharing a new app. It is called Curriculum Genie, and it's an online website. I was speaking with the person who created it the other day, and he had shown it to me before, and it was a little confusing to me, but they've done a lot of work on it. So the system behind it is really clean. It is, for this one, it is freemium at this point. you're allowed to have, you'll see I have 1 of 4 units this month. So I believe you're allowed to have a total of 4 units. They will give you, it always comes with a sort of exemplar one that's like a sandbox that you can play in to see what it does. I created a unit the other day, but the idea of this is it creates units in real time. And what I really liked about it was when you go in, you can give your unit a name. So I'm going to stick with my phases of the moon thing again here. Or just moon in general, but you can go in and you can describe here what you want that unit to look like. And what teachers have started doing, this is just it's the GPT, so you can pop anything in here. So I've seen a teacher who went with her class and she said, what do we really want to learn about in terms of a unit of study? Like, what are you fascinated with? What are you wanting to learn about? We're going to have like a 20% period of time when the class gets to learn about something that we chose. And she planned a unit of study with them over a week. So it gives you that ability to really narrow down a unit to be more local to your own school district. And I'll show you that in a minute. And then also to your individual student interests. So within Phases of the Moon here, I put in this title here. I believe if I click on Description Assistant, it's going to help me kind of pop in what I might want to do with it. So what's a concise 1 sentence? I have all these things here. I'm just going to stick in here Phases of the Moon again for the purposes of us getting a little bit done here so I don't use up all our time. You can choose your grade level. So I'll go down and stick this down to 2nd grade. You have the number of weeks that you're interested in doing. You can pop that up to 4 as the top. The language, the standards you can pick, and all these different options for you. I love this button down here, which is Create Localized Curriculum. So it will draw from things in your own community. So you can come here and set this to San Diego. In my case, San Diego, La Mesa might have been in there, I didn't even look. Confirm. And then you're going to click on Generate. The video just kind of explains what it is. You don't need to watch that. So I got this generating. And I'm waiting. And if for some reason it's not going to generate for me because maybe it's got a bug in it, of course, because I'm presenting it. Oh, this field's required. Sorry, I have to pick a couple standards. Okay, I'm rushing through this a little bit. All right, now I'm going to generate. There we go. And what I like about this is it generates in real time. So it's going to come up with the unit. It's going to come up with some ideas. I have no idea what standards I put, but it's trying to do my thing based on the minimal amount of information I gave it here. Now imagine if you popped more information in there. I've got Phases of the Moon, a unit overview. I've got the trajectory. I can go in here and make any changes that I want to. So it's kind of giving me some information, but I can go in and make it much more tailored to what I actually want it to be. It's that good start we always talk about when we're using AI. They have concepts here for me. If I want vocabulary in here, I can put it in there. Now I have the opportunity here to also kind of update and regenerate. So let's say I want to go in here and put in some more localized information about my own students' interests because I forgot to. And I say, my students love dinosaurs or something like that. That wouldn't go along with it, but I can put in information here and I can confirm and I can regenerate. So use academic vocabulary based on 2nd grade NGSS standards. Maybe I forgot to put those in. And when I click on confirm and regenerate, it's gonna regenerate everything for me. So I can come in here, click it again, and I'm gonna get a brand new unit. And this is just kind of phase 1 of what it does. So once I have this where I want it, I'll go ahead and click on next. And now it's going to give me the week by week breakdown of it. And I get to do the same thing over again. So it's generating, you can see right here. I can have the ability to put in books that I want. It will not put books in for me. I could go to my own library and say, this is the stack of books I have on this subject, put those in there so that they get spread out in ways that make sense. I can again adjust the number of lessons. I can see a unit overview and I can confirm and go on to the next. Because the next level, it's going to get even more granular down into the lessons for those units. So you can see now I have lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4 popping up. And again, here I can go in, make any edits and changes, make it more tailored to my students and my needs by clicking on that generate detailed lesson plan here. When I go into lesson 1, I have some ability to engage with it at this level. I'm going to confirm it. And then I'm going to generate details. It will apply Edu protocols to it. They have an agreement with that company now. So as I come in here, it's going to give me much more details. And I'm just going to let this kind of come in. But again, that idea that at each stage of that unit that you're planning, you're seeing how quickly I could go through and plan this. And what I have seen teachers do with this is they will actually do that. You know how we talk about the whole Paulo Freire model of having students have input on the curriculum and the things that they do? And I know in the past that has been a huge lift for teachers to say, oh, I'm going to ask my students every single time exactly what we want to learn. How am I going to get that all done? It's generating things that quickly for you, and it can bring in some of their ideas and things that they're interested in. It's definitely worth playing with. I will say some of their suggestions for IEP students and the language learners, they're kind of generic. We're hoping that they work on those a little bit more, but they do have a few in there for you. They have some connections to culturally linguistic and responsive practices as well for your unit. And I think for teachers starting out, that might be a great, again, just tools and suggestions. They've got the listings of the resources that are online for you to use that you could pull. So these aren't things that I put in. And then the final thing would be to batch generate, and it will just go ahead and say, you like everything the way it is? Great. Once I go to batch generate, and we don't have time for that, it'll take a while to kind of produce everything. But the very last piece that it will do for me is it will print out, I can print out in a PDF format the whole entire unit. And it's actually very visually appealing. And it gets you around that little kind of 3, you can only have 3 things because you can print it out. If you print it, once you print it, you can't tailor it and make it, every year responsive to your own students. But it's interesting. Like I said, I would play around with it. I'm highly motivated to determine how this works. All right, so I am going to go to our next slide. If there are no questions, I don't think I missed any in here. Nope. Which leads us to our thank you for you all for being here. One of the things that we do ask, if you have a chance, beyond just a big thank you for spending your time with us and letting us get to look at this, and a huge thank you to all of our presenters today. We really do appreciate you coming out, and Eric taking time out from the beach, just kidding, to spend time with us to present for us. It makes it so much more fun when there's a lot of us on here. But we do have a link to our professional development feedback. So if, a good, bad, we always say that it's the neutral stuff that makes it harder. If there's something we could do better, let us know. We'll take that as good critical feedback. If you liked us, let us know. With both of those things, there's actions that we can take. So we can do more of it, or we can change things. But if you click on that link, and I can put that link for you in the chat, it just takes you to a quick survey, and we do appreciate if people have the time to do that. Other than that, I'm going to say thank you very much for coming, and let my colleagues also sort of say a thank you, and anybody who presented. You're welcome to.
Thank you, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask.